Yo, Revolver here, and welcome to the 29th episode of the Ayaka progression series. Last time we were talking about future plans when it comes to using our Primogems. For today, I will go more into it, concerning how I intend to proceed in the future. If you didn't watch the last episode, I recommend you watch it. Otherwise, you might get a bit confused. From where I left off, you know now what I'm interested in and what I might want to go for. When Ayaka reruns, the Mistsplitter will also be there. And with the amount we have now, we will be able to get a guaranteed copy until the rerun occurs, 100%. And now comes the part where it gets a bit difficult. The best way to decide if I try to gamble for more copies or not is determined by two factors. First of all, it is dependent on the number of Primogems we still have after pulling for the last con and a copy of the Mistsplitter. Who knows, maybe I might be lucky and still have enough left over for another guaranteed copy. But the other factor is, what other weapon will rerun besides it? If it's a completely useless weapon that I could not use for anybody, it's going to be an easy skip. If the weapon is useful though, or even crazy, which is very unlikely, we'll probably try to gamble for some more copies. But it also depends on the amount we still have. Let's say if I hit the 5-star weapon and we only have 10k left, but for a guaranteed you need about 12.8k, then we just stop there. I guess it also depends on the timing, when the rerun will happen. If we receive it very late, it might be a mistake to go all in, just because the Haran could be the next weapon on the way. And honestly, I could see Ayaka joining the Kazu and Utao exceptions, where she might rerun after a year or so. Then Haran has a big chance to come back somewhere around there. As you can see, there is a lot to factor in. So right now, there is no definitive plan. But until then, the plan will become much sharper. After the big summoning session, Haran is the next goal. I want to get it next time for sure. That means besides saving up for refines for the Mistsplitter, I will save up for a copy of Haran. But what about the characters like Kuki and Toma, or even Sino? Let's talk about the 4 stars first. As I said, I don't want to pull for 4 stars specifically, because otherwise you have the risk that you get a 5-star that you don't want. And as I said in the last episode, right now the only 5-star that I'm interested in is Sino. Other than him, I don't want the other 5 stars. So the best plan is to pull for Kuki or Toma, if they end up in the Ayaka, Ayato or Sino banner, because then I wouldn't be upset if I pulled the constellation or Sino. What about Sino though? Am I gonna save up specifically for him in the future? It is honestly a difficult choice. I just like him a lot overall, and I even have a cool idea for a team. But the problem with him is, he's more of a hypercarry DPS, where he spends most of the time on the field, and for that, he has no place in my team. It's not really that big of a deal, I could still add him to my team if I wanted to, it's just not gonna be efficient. But it's not like I care more about efficiency than having someone that I like on my team. The problem is just, I like Ayaka, Ayato and Yunjin too much, that I will never replace them, probably. Kuki just fits the last spot as a healer better than Sino. I know that Sayu is still much better, but I like Kuki more, and if I like something, I gonna make it work. With Kuki's addition, I would pretty much have my dream team completed. Well, Yunjin was never planned to be on the dream team, but somehow it happened. Most of my gameplay comes from the overworld team, going out of my way to guarantee myself a 5-star and then end up only using them once every 2 weeks in Abyss. Or just for a puzzle, I guess. I don't like the idea of that. Well, that's just me. I know you all are probably very different about this, but I just don't like constantly switching my overworld team. I just want to use the ones that I already like equally. I would otherwise feel kind of bad for Cyno. Also, I just like him that much. If I saved up for him, I would also simultaneously save up for his weapon. Otherwise, I wouldn't specifically save up for him. I would love to have his weapon. It's just aesthetically perfect on him, and it's also his best in slot weapon. And yeah, as you can see, besides the goal of getting Mistsplitter to R5, the commitments would get even crazier than they already are. It's not easy at all, but after all, it's my fault that I have to make everything so complicated. It's funny how I always have to throw rocks at myself. Right now though, everything depends on when the rerun will happen and how the pulls will go, and what the situation and timing will be by then. But let's say that in Cyno's banner either Cookie or Toma would be there. I would definitely pull on that banner. And if I would get him, I would also try to use him as much as my other 3 favorites. But I can tell you, if I ever try to save for him or even get him on accident, I would be even stricter with pulling for new upcoming 5 stars in the future. And that's gonna be even harder with Fontaine and Natlan, especially because I'm interested in the Pyro Archon. Oh, and there could also be somewhere out of nowhere new Inazuman characters. I should really stop overthinking everything. I'm just making it even harder than it already is. I simply want to emphasize, I'm not going to pull for anything until I pull for Ayaka's Last Con. I'm pretty sure I could get the Haran right now, and could make things easier. And I know that probably a lot of you wouldn't mind if I did that. But I'm doing this series for a reason. I want to mimic for one last time what I went through when I did that the first time. It's also a challenge of self-control. I just want to prove that if an idiot like me can do it, then you can also do it. And don't forget, I'm a free-to-play player. I'm not saying that to flex or anything. It's just to show that even if you are free-to-play, you can still get C6 characters, if you really want to. It doesn't have to be as extreme as me, but I think everybody is able to achieve a goal if they set up their mind to it. And this doesn't apply to just saving up in Genshin. Even if you fail, then be proud that you tried it, and just start over again. Just don't give up immediately, whatever it is. Sometimes it just takes time. If you just stop there, you are never gonna reach that goal. It's that simple. Well, if you want to fly like a bird, that's probably gonna be a bit difficult, but you get my point. That's it. Stay safe, guys. See ya.